Hello, everyone. My name is Danielle, and in today's episode, we are going to be talking about a crime that happened the second week of January now? I don't remember the dates, especially in the beginning of the year, I never even remember what year it is. I Google what year is it about 3 or 4 times a year. Anyways, we are going to be talking about something that happened January 8th, but in 1976 in San Mateo County, California. Yes, California is a common theme in these videos, unfortunately. It does make sense because it's the biggest state, but why? Why California? Anyway, the date that I just said to you is sadly the death date of 18-year-old Veronica, aka Ronnie Cascio. On this day, Ronnie was stabbed 30 times and was sexually assaulted. Her body was found at the Sharp Park Golf Course in Pacifica. I think it was the next day it was found. Her death was deemed to be connected with multiple other deaths that all occurred in a similar manner, and the media named him the Gypsy the Gypsy Hill Killings, not to be confused with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Gypsy Hill Killings, and also the San Mateo Slasher. The total believed killings by this person were about 6. I'm going to pop up on the screen all of the killings that are supposed to be connected as the San Mateo Slasher and the Gypsy Hill Killings. First, we have Ronnie Cascio, which I already mentioned, who was 18, and that happened in January. Then we have Tanya Blackwell, who was 14. We have Paula Baxter, who was 17. Michelle Mitchell, 19. Carol Booth, big jump, was 26. And Denise Lamp was 19. So the majority of them were teenagers. All of them were young women. So terrible, disgusting, but that was his type of victim, like how Ted Bundy only killed brunettes or something in California as well. He killed teenagers and young girls, which is terrible and disgusting. And they were all murdered in such a brutal way. Based on the forensic links, the time frame of the murders, and the method of homicide, law enforcement were very confident that these were all connected. So Ronnie disappeared January 7th while walking to a bus stop at Bradford Way and Fairway Drive in Pacifica. So she was trying to catch a bus. She was trying to get to the bus stop, and unfortunately, she must have been lured away or something, or snatched. Just all we know is that's the last time anyone saw her. That's what she was doing. That's what she was en route to do that day. And her body was discovered the very next day, stabbed dozens of times. Let's talk a little bit more about Veronica, or Ronnie. Veronica Cascio was born October 16th, 1957 in California, which makes her a Libra. Cool thing, this is the first time I've noticed this when researching these cases, is you can actually look up her ancestry. It was called Ancestry Memorial or something, and you can read comments from her family members and people that knew her to learn more about her and her life. One of her cousins, named Gary McDonald, wrote, first of all, disclaimer, this was very sad reading this, because in true crime you get so swept up in the mystery of it all and the what the heck that you sometimes forget that these are real people. This is not fiction. this happened to somebody, and it happened to somebody's family, and it's terrifying. So it was very upsetting and hard to read through these, but I will read you a couple of them. Gary wrote, I was very young when it happened, about 10 years old, and I didn't fully understand till later in life what really happened. I still lay awake at night, some nights, wondering how terrified she must have been. That son of a bitch is going to hell. What's really sad to me is, yes, he was related to her. I think he said he was only 10. I can relate to that because, when you're a child and someone in your family dies, I obviously cannot relate to what he is going through, but not understanding death, you're so young, you don't really totally understand death, yet alone do you understand a death that happened in such a terrible manner, and a life that was just senselessly taken must have been so hard for him as a child to process and cope with and understand. Another family member actually replied saying that they were cousins as well, and I thought that that was nice because they found each other through Ancestry talking about their cousin. Claudia Walker said that she was 26 when it happened, and she was so torn apart. She said that Ronnie was the sweetest cousin anyone could ever have. And lastly, another family member, had the same name as her, which I think that is beautiful that her name continues to live on through her family member. She said that her mother named her the same exact name in memory of her sister. And she said that I hope he rots in hell. So who is this he that everyone's referring to? Who could have done this? Why did he do it? I won't be able to tell you why. Why does anyone ever do it? Stupid reasons. Stupid people. But a jury convicted Rodney Halbower of killing Ronnie and Paula Baxter. Even though they think he was responsible for the other girls that I mentioned, that's who he was convicted for. Either way, I think he got sentenced to life. So either way, he's going to be locked up for life, even though unfortunately he wasn't convicted for the other murders. He was convicted at age 69, and he is still alive today in Oregon State Prison, 76 years old. Rodney Halbower was born June 27th, 1948, in Wisconsin, which makes him a Cancer. Not the fact that he was born in Wisconsin, but I kind of said that wrong. Only a few years later, his family did move to Michigan, and just after the move to Michigan, just a laundry list of crimes. I'm laughing because I said it after the move to Michigan, he was only a baby. Before then, he couldn't have committed crimes. Anyway, at 16 years old, he was sent briefly to adult prison in Michigan after violating the terms of his juvenile probation for stealing a car. So that's not great at 16. That's kind of crazy. He's not stealing a candy bar. He's stealing someone's car. Excuse me. I feel like I have to sneeze. At 17, just a single year later, he was convicted of breaking and entering and sentenced to 5 years in prison. So they keep getting worse gradually. And the years following, he was arrested for more robberies and spent more time in prison. In 1970, he actually escapes prison from Michigan and goes on to have a daughter. He should be in prison, but he escaped and had a daughter. I don't know who agreed to have a daughter with him. After that, a change in his pattern of crimes happened. As I mentioned, it kept getting worse and worse. And after this, it just got extremely worse, which makes me so annoyed. How did he escape prison? Why did no one find him when he escaped? None of this wouldn't have happened if he would have just stopped escaping from prison. I kind of did a spoiler alert there, but anyway, at 27 years old in 1975, he was arrested for the rape of a woman who worked at a casino, and then he was on bail pending trial. this worsened dramatically because he physically harmed someone. He was stealing and doing robberies back then, but now he physically harmed someone. So it all just goes downhill from here. This brings us to January 1976, when the 5 young women in California were murdered. So that happened after that. I'm pretty sure he was pending trial still. He was on bail for that. Yeah, so he was actually on bail pending trial for the rape when this happened. So again, what is the justice system doing? So then the trial, by May 1976, he was sentenced to life for the rape of the woman, because the trial went through. But before then, they didn't know he did those murders. Sorry, I just confused myself. Those murders just happened in that time frame while he was pending trial on bail for the rape. So he gets sent to prison after he did those murders that no one knew that he did. And by 1977, only a year in prison, this man escaped another time. So not once, but twice now he escaped from prison. And the same year that he escaped, like, you'd think you'd be grateful to escape prison and you would be careful, but no, he just kept doing crimes. He was arrested for kidnapping his 7-year-old daughter. So back into the slammer, 1986. So he was in there for a good while, a good decade. But he does manage to escape prison for the 3rd time. So I don't know why he wasn't sent to like a high maximum security prison, like a track record of escaping twice. You'd think, no way this would happen again. But nope, it happened a 3rd time. And once he escaped prison for that 3rd time, he drives to Oregon and rapes and tries to kill someone. He's arrested again for that. And by March 2014, so a big jump, then the FBI finally links DNA evidence to him from those killings back in 1976 or 1976. So crazy, new DNA technology finally found him guilty for those murders in 2014. So that's a crazy time jump. I wonder if he thought he was gonna get away with it forever. But no more escapes after that. He's set. Then the court date started back in 2018, so it wasn't that long ago. And he stood up and yelled at the jury. He just screamed at them, "I am not guilty. I've never raped or murdered in my life." Very convincing, I know. Close the case. The jury, they heard all they need to hear. He's innocent. But the new DNA technology successfully and undoubtedly linked him to the crimes. And it makes sense given his roll call of crimes and prison sentences and prison escapes. Like, it makes sense. He fits this crime. It makes sense that he'd be guilty. So he was sentenced. The jury did not listen to his advice of voting for not innocent. Innocent. I'm sorry. I'm tired. But he was found guilty. In conclusion, I hope he rots in prison for the rest of his life, just like the family members of Ronnie. We all hope the same thing. And he needs to stop fucking escaping prison. I don't understand how he managed to do it 3 times, but he doesn't seem like a mastermind. Like, he seems like a dumb guy, so I don't understand. Whatever. On a more serious note, I'm so sorry for all of his victims. Even the woman at the casino and the other woman that he escaped in Oregon, I believe, and raped and tried to murder. He ruined so many lives. And and it is just terrible. I can't believe I've never heard of this story. I can't believe I haven't heard of a lot of these stories. There's like, terribly, there are so many horrible stories out there. So please let me know what you guys think below. If you have any opinions on this, have you ever heard of this case before? How do you think he managed to escape prison 3 times? Thank you for watching. As always, check out my Spotify if you'd rather just listen to the audio version and not look at my face. And please like and subscribe if you get a chance and you'd like to keep up with crimes that happened this week in history. I would really appreciate it. It would help me out. And as always, be well and stay safe. And thank you guys for watching. Bye.